Jai Hind students, today we will be discussing about the very important topic in software engineering, which is re-engineering. So, what is re-engineering? Re-engineering means to re-implement the system to make the system more maintainable. Alright. In previous lecture, we have discussed about the software maintenance. So, what is re-engineering? With the help of re-engineering, we simply try to re-implement the system so that we will be able to maintain the system in a much better way, in a more better way we can say. That is what is re-engineering. So, in this the functionality and the architecture of the system remains the same, but it includes re-documenting. So, that is important thing, that if we are talking about the functionality, if we are talking about the architecture of the system, it is something which remains the same, but we need to re-document it, we need to organize it, we need to modify it, and again based on that the updation of the system is basically required. So, when we are talking about this re-engineering principles, they are applied to business process. So, if this very process of re-engineering or re-implementing the system so that the system becomes more maintainable, if they are basically applied to some business processes, then we generally call this as business process re-engineering, that is called as BPR. Now, there are different steps which are basically involved in the concept of re-engineering. What are the different steps? First is the setting of the goal. So, what is actually the goal that we are looking for, based on which re-engineering need to be done. Then after the goals have been properly set up, there comes the need of the critical analysis of the existing scenario, such as process, task, design, method. That means we need to properly analyze the current situation, the current system, the current process, right? The critical analysis of the existing scenario need to be done. Then after that, identify the problems and solving them by new innovative thinking, right? So, these are the different type of process that need to be followed. We need to set the proper goal, right? Goal setting need to be done. Critical analysis of the present system that we want to re-engineer, that need to be properly done. And then lastly, we have to identify the problems and then again solving this particular problem. Then in other words, we can say that it uses new technology to gain this significant breakthrough improvement, right? So, based on, as I told you, that it is something which is going to incorporate some type of new technology, so that we will be able to gain the proper significant breakthrough improvement of the system. Now, the principles of re-engineering when applied to software development process, then it is called as software re-engineering. As I told you that if it is applied to business process, then it is called as business process re-engineering, and if it is applied to software, then it is called as software re-engineering. Now, according to IBM user group guide, the process of modifying the internal mechanism of a system or the program or the data structure of the system or program without changing its functionality. So, this is basically the definition of software engineering that is given by IBM user guide, that it is the process with the help of which you will be able to modify the internal mechanism of the system or a particular program, or we can talk about the data structure of the system without actually changing the functionality of the system. Now, software engineering is concerned with checking the existing legacy system, right? That means we are actually not developing the new system, we are using the old legacy system, and then those old legacy system are basically re-implemented to make the system more maintainable, because we actually want the system to be a more maintainable system. So, with the help of re-engineering, we are not going to develop the new system, we will actually be using the old system, the existing legacy system, and then based on the new technology, we are going to re-implement them so that the system becomes more maintainable. Now, the critical distinction between re-engineering and new software development is the starting point for the development, as shown in the next slide. Like when we are developing the new system and when we are actually re-engineering the system, what is basically the critical distinction? This is basically the point that this particular, that what is the starting point for the particular development, whether we are re-engineering it or whether we are, developing the new system. Now, as you can see in this particular figure, this figure will let you explain the basic comparison of the new software development with any type of re-engineering system, right? Like if we are talking about the normal system, system specifications need to be done, then design and implementation need to be done, and then based on that we will be having some, a new type of system, right? But when we are talking about the re-engineering process, we will actually not be starting with some system specification, we will be having the system which is an existing software system. This is an important point. So, as we are not developing the new system, we are simply going to use the old legacy system. So, existing software system need to be used, then understanding and transformation of that existing software system need to be properly incorporated, and then we will be having that particular re-engineer type of system based on the type of changes that we are going to incorporate in the old legacy system based on the the type of requirements that we are having. Now, the following suggestions may be useful for the modifications of the legacy code. When you are having the old code, what are the different type of suggestions that need to be properly properly incorporated if you want to modify the particular type of code? What is that? First is that study code well before attempting any particular type of change. If you want to incorporate any particular type of changes, just try to study that code again and again. If you have read it once and you are not able to get it, just read it once more. And again, if after 2 times you are not able to get it, just read it thrice, right? So, just study that particular code that you want to change. That is important point. Then again, the second is that you need to concentrate on the overall control flow and not just the coding. So, it is not like the coding that you are incorporating any particular type of change. Just see what is the overall control flow of the complete system. You need to properly check, you need to go through each and every particular, the complete workflow of the system that need to be properly checked. Then again, heavily comment internal code, create cross references if required, build symbol tables. Of course, if you require symbol tables, just don't hesitate to build it. Use own variables, the constants, the declarations to localize the particular type of effects. Keep detailed maintenance documents. Very important thing, that whatever changes you are incorporating, not only even in the phase of the software maintenance, from the the documentation is quite important from the very initial phase when we are developing any particular type of software. So, always keep the proper documentation of the the changes that you are going to do, the changes that you want to incorporate into your software. Keep detailed maintenance document available with you. Then again, use modern design techniques for incorporating any particular type of change. So, these are some type of suggestions. If done properly, then again this will be very, very helpful. Then again, if you are talking in terms of source code translation, hardware platform update, the organization may wish to change its structured hardware platform. Compilers for the original language may not be available on the new platform. So, this is basically the type of translations that can be done. Then again, staff skill shortages, there may be a lack of trained maintenance staff for the original language. This is a particular problem where programs were written in some non-standard language that has not gone out of the general use. So, there may be the lack of the person or the the trained staff from the maintenance point. Then again, organizational policy keeps on changing. So, it is not like that the policy remains the same, it keeps on changing. An organization may decide to standardize on the particular language to minimize its support of software cost. If the the policies keeps on changing, then definitely again the costing and all is definitely going to be very high. So, it is very, very important that the organization need to decide in advance only what is the type of standardized procedure that they are supposed to follow. So, of course, that based on that the cost of the software will be quite less. Then again, maintenance many versions of all compilers can be again very, very expensive. Then again, program restructuring, control flow driven restructuring. This is something that involves the imposition of clear control structure within the source code and can either be modular or intramodular in nature. Second is this efficiency driven restructuring, that means simply restructuring based on the efficiency and all. So, this involves restructuring the function or the algorithm to make it more efficient. So, since starting you are saying that the main aim is that we want to make the system more efficient. So, that means restructuring the functions or the algorithm so that it becomes more efficient. A simple example is the replacement of if then else with a particular type of case environment. Adaptation driven restructuring, this involves changing the coding style in order to adapt the program to the new programming language or simply adopting according to the new operating environment. Now, what are the different advantages of re-engineering? As we are doing the re-engineering, or we are actually using the old legacy system, and with the help of the new technology making the going to change in the particular software or the system. So what are the different type of advantages? Of course, if you are going to develop the a new system, that is quite costly, or I should say very much costly, as compared to the one if we are going to re-engineer the system. So of course the cost is quite less, which is of course the most important concern in the field of software engineering. Second is, of course, it lowers the risk, of failure, because we have already working on the system which is already a developed system. We are not working on the new system. So when we are actually working on the system that is already in the a previous system, so we will be able to lower the type of risk, we will be able to lower the type of the failures in the system. So it is something which of course going to lower the risk of the system, and we never want the system to be a risky system, right? Based on this only we are going to manage if there is any type of issues in the system due to which your system or your software may fail. So all those type of risk scenario need to be properly catered in advance, need to be properly adhered to in advance, so that we will be able to make it as low as possible. Then third is the better use of the existing staff, right? The existing staff we are having, we are of course, if we are talking in terms of the advantage, this is again one of the most important point, that we will be able to the most important advantage in the field of re-engineering. Then incremental development, that is also possible, in the case of re-engineering. So these are the different advantages of re-engineering. The important is the cost and the risk. We never want the software system to be a very costly system. We always want the system to be a cheaper system. And again, if you are going to use the system, or if you are going to develop the new system, it is very, very costly as compared to the one that will be using some old legacy system and making some sort of with the help of the new technologies, making some type of changes in the system. Risk, as I told you, is one of the important factor that we cannot neglect. Rather than building the new system, we will always prefer to use the system which is a system that we are actually aware of, the surroundings, the technology, the resources that we actually need, the methodologies that we are actually working, we are actually being aware of those very things. So it is something which is definitely going to lower the risk of the particular system. Then of course, if we have some type of advantages, we cannot say that it is not having any sort of disadvantages also. So there are different type of disadvantages of re-engineering. What are they? The major architectural changes or the radical reorganizing of the system data management has to be done manually, which is again a very tedious type of task, right? Different type of changes, architectural changes, or any type of reorganizing of the system management, right? Management of the particular system that actually need to be done manually. So this is again a tedious type of task, and it is due to this very reason that it actually falls into the category of the disadvantage or the major disadvantages of re-engineering of the system. Second is, re-engineered system is not likely to be as maintainable as the new developed system using the modern software engineering methods. So that is the most important point, that if we are talking about we have two options available with us. Either we will be developing the new system, or we will actually be using with the old system, which is a legacy system, and making it more maintainable using some new technologies, making some type of changes. But if we are talking in terms of maintainable or in terms of maintenance of a particular system, this re-engineering system, this is not likely to be as maintainable as we are going to develop a new system. That means if we are going to use a new system, if we are developing a new system, we will of course be using some type of modern software engineering tools, modern software engineering methodologies. So based on that, we can say that this is very using different tools, using different methods, using some standardized type of procedure, based on which we can say that the software will be more maintainable. And of course, maintenance is one of the most important phase, so we cannot even neglect it. So the major disadvantage of restructuring the particular system is that it is less maintainable as compared to the system which is building the new system. So that is a major disadvantages, or you can say a major drawback in the field of re-engineering. And as far as the the advantages are concerned, we have already discussed that it is something which is going to lower the cost of the system, which is a major important point. It is something which is going to reducing the risk of the system, because we never want the system to be a risky system. And what all issues which can actually lead to the failure of the particular system, all those issues can very much be reduced if we are going to re-engineer the system, which is basically the legacy type of system. Now we will be discussing about CASE. Now what is CASE? CASE stands for Computer Aided Software Engineering. Now what it is? It means development and maintenance of software projects with the help of various automated tools, right? We will be using different type of automated tools. We are going to develop, we are going to maintain the software project with the help of different automated tools. That is what is actually the environment of the CASE. Now this computer aided software engineering tool assists software engineer managers, practitioners in every activity which is associated with the process of software. It's very simple to understand that this particular environment or this particular CASE tool, it is definitely going to help the process, the engineers, the managers, the practitioners in whatever activities they are basically related with in the process of the software. So that means, in a very simple words, we can say that this CASE tools means any type of tool which is going to automate some activity which is basically associated with the development of the, that means we are simply going to automate the different activities. So no doubt it is definitely going to make our life very, very easy, because it is going to automate each and every particular activity that we generally use, that we generally require in the development of the particular software. Now many CASE tools are available. Some of the CASE tools assist in phase related, such as specifications, structuring analysis, design. That means you can see that these are the different phases. So we have got different particular type of CASE tools which will assist you in the specifications, in the structure analysis, in the design, in the coding, in the testing, everything, right? And others to the known phase type of activities also. What are those known phase type of activity? Is the project management and the configuration management, because these are the type of activities which are not actually mentioned in your SDLC, that means software development life cycle. So they are the tools which basically assist you in the phase activities as well as in the non-phase type of activities. Now these CASE tools are software programs which are designed to assist human programmers with the complexity of the particular processes and the artifacts of software engineering. So that means they are going to assist you based on the type of the automations that we are doing. So as we know, the software engineering is a systematic approach of the development, operation, maintenance, and again last is the retirement of the particular software. The software engineering mainly includes the following processes which may be added by this CASE environment. What are they? Translation of user needs into software requirements, that can very easily be done with the help of this. Then again, transformation of software engineering, if we need to transform certain type of requirements into the design phase, we have the CASE tools which will help you in this. Implementation of the particular design to code, then comes is the testing of the code when the like the operational use of the things need to be done, and of course the documentation. Then again, what are the reasons for using the CASE tools? Why we are using this CASE tools? The primary reason for using the CASE tool is, of course, the productivity. We want to increase the productivity of the system, right? So how we will be able to do it? This can be done with the help of using the CASE tool. Automation of various activities of system development and management process increases the productivity of the development team. See, at the end of the day, what is the main aim? That how we will be able to enhance or increase the productivity of the system. So with the help of this particular type of tool, we will be able to manage, we will be able to develop the process, increasing the development of the particular team. Second is to help produce better quality software. Quality is one of the most important feature in the field of software engineering that actually we don't want to compromise with. So how we will be able to develop a software which is a qualitative software, and again at a low maintenance cost? That can only be done by using the proper CASE tools. Use of CASE tools make the software easy to maintain and hence reduces the maintenance cost. So if you are using the proper CASE tools, the proper automated CASE tools, it is no doubt going to make your software more maintainable, and hence you will be able to reduce the cost of the maintenance, which is again one of the most important factor, that how you will be able to reduce the particular cost of the software. Now, other major benefits of the particular case tools increases, as I told you, it is going to improve the productivity. Better documentation again can be done with the help of these case tools. Reduce lifetime maintenance if you are using the proper type of case tools. It is going to improve the accuracy of the system by using the proper case tools. And again, it is an opportunity for the non-programmers. Like, it's not necessary that you need to be a very good programmer for using the particular type of case tool. Now, as all these points I have already discussed, now these are the different characteristics of the case tools. A case tools must have the following characteristics in order to be to make it used in a more efficient way. A standard methodology is the most important characteristics of the case tool. We have the proper standard methodology. Again, flexibility. If you want to make or change in the particular system, that is only possible if and only if the system is flexible in nature. Strong integration among different type of case tools that we will be using. Integration with the testing software, the software that is basically used for testing the the system or the the software that we have developed. Support for reverse engineering is also there, and again online help is also basically produced. So these are the different type of characteristics of the case tools. Right, a standard methodology, as I told you, flexible in use of editors and other type of tools, strong integration among the different type of tools, integration with the testing environment, support, and again the online help. The case tool provides an online tutorial also. That means if you are not actually aware or able to know that how to use a particular type of tool, it is something which is definitely going to give you a type of online support. Now, there are different categories of case tools. Sometimes case tools are classified in the following categories: upper, lower and integrated. Upper case tools, they support the analysis and the design phase. Lower case, they support the coding and the configuration management. And integration, it is known as the I case, and it is also something which supports the analysis, design and the coding phase. So these are the different categories of the case tools. Okay students, thank you so much. Thank you.